Okay.
December.
Well, shall we get down to business?
Let's go.
Let's go, go, go.
Well,
All right. So what's first on the agenda today, ladies?
WandaVision, obviously.
Woo woo.
I mean, I know I have been waiting in anticipation for this show, and we finally got it. And I have to say, straight out the gate, I was not disappointed.
Same. I liked it a lot. Yeah. Lots of depth.
I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it.
Good.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
good. This is good.
I appreciate how different it is, but how familiar it feels. It is a very different superhero type show. And I was very into House of M, which is kind of what I feel like they're doing. I don't know for sure because obviously they're taking some different strides with this character, but it seems similar to that, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
So let's take it down first, episode by episode, because we got 2 episodes at a time. But I will say, to your point about House of M, I think we got a clue that it was House of M because the wine. Oh, sorry. Spoiler.
Spoilers alert, yes.
To anyone who is not seen it yet, you're probably going to want to skip ahead about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, because we're going to be talking about this for a while.
Just get into you here as not saying Wanda anymore. When we haven't said Wanda for at least 30 seconds of listening, then you know it's safe to listen again.
There you go. There you go. We got a little, I think we got a hint that we are within the realm of House of M, because with the wine that they served at dinner was from I think it said it was in French, but it translates to House of Misery. So I think what we're getting is House of M, but translated to TV in this unique thing. So episode 1, I think, was a combination of a Dick Van Dyke show and a I Love Lucy show. You had the slapstick of I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke, plus the like homey couple interaction.
Yeah, with like a dash of I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, and Bewitched in there just a little bit.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was cute.
Did you guys catch how the different, like how each episode seemed like it had moved through the decade, like already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, episode 1 was definitely 50s, 60s, 50s, and then episode 2 was definitely 60s. Yeah, I definitely caught that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting to watch her transition so quickly, which was obviously a huge hint that there's going to be more of this, moving forward. To a crashing reality, hopefully, which is I'm so excited.
What I was not expecting was this horror element to the show. It got scary when the boss started choking. Yeah. And the wife was like, "Stop it! Like I was just like, when I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, I was a little scared. Like, it felt almost Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah. It felt like Matrix glitchy. like she kind of knew what was happening and that she could stop it, but she didn't know that it was happening.
Right, and I was like, who is she asking to stop? Is she asking him to stop playing, or is she asking Wanda, "Hey, Wanda, can you let us go? Like, Wanda, stop. Stop. Can you stop?"
Yes, like she knew that she was stuck in this fucked up reality, and Wanda knew how to change it. I was just like, oh shit.
And then Wanda was like, and then how calmly Wanda was like, help him.
Right? Yeah.
Girl.
She didn't really want to, but she felt like it was fine. Like you should do it.
But notice how we didn't see him in episode 2.
Yes, very true. Gone. Him and the wife.
The wife was there. She was sitting at the table with her, but but he was not there.
Yes, he disappeared.
So it was creepy. What do you guys think of the commercials?
I thought they were creepy as hell. I was like, yeah, we watching some fucked up shit right now.
That blinking light in the toaster, the Stark toaster.
Yeah.
That got faster, and it was the only color in the whole episode.
Yes, very creepy. And so I am not looking forward to the revealing of what happens about the twins. So I actually started rereading House of M like today, so I could, brush up on it and make sure I can make my comparisons. And yeah, it's tragic comic. So this is gonna be fucked up.
That the toaster commercial reminded me of what Pietro and Wanda had said about when the building came down on them in Sokovia, and that Stark missile was just sitting there, and they didn't know if it was going to go off or not.
Yeah,
like it gave me that feeling of apprehension. Like that's what that blinking light reminded me of, and then all of a sudden, like it was
a lot.
The tension there was a lot. Yeah, episode 1 was really interesting. So I'll ask you this, Ashley. How was her acting for you?
I still don't know if my earlier question about whether or not she can carry a drama has been answered, because I feel like they employed the same type of I don't know what to call it, method, I guess, for her delivery of the dramatic moments. The whole show was campy, and it's easy to deliver your lines in a corny way when that's what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody can be corny, Mm-hmm. Or, I shouldn't say everybody can be corny. I just think that that's not difficult to do.
Yeah.
But
so you understand that range.
Right. I want to see more dramatic moments. I hope it gets as intense and dark as y'all were talking about. I don't know nothing about House of M. So I was on that conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at it. She's not terrible.
I think moving into episode 2, I didn't think that Paul Bettany could carry off humor like that, but I think he did an excellent job playing Drunk Vision.
Yeah.
I think he was hilarious. So who would have thought that gum is what causes Vision to act drunk? I wouldn't have. That is not what my first thought would have been. I thought when he swallowed the gum, he would have just turned into like frozen, like he wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah. Well, I liked it for a second. I was like, oh, it's gonna gum up the works, and then he said it later, and I was like, oh, I knew. It was funny. I thought he did a great job, and I think he's a pretty decent actor. So it was really, he did it really well, and she works with him on screen pretty well. Like it was
their chemistry is
they
really
have good chemistry together.
Yeah, it's really good, and I saw that in both of the Infinity Avengers movies. They told that to me. Well, in the second one more than the first one. Because I think it was just like thrown at us. Like we were supposed to like assume that they had like built up all this repertoire after the Civil War, and I was like, whatever. But but by the second movie, I was like, nah, they in love. Mm-hmm. They told it to me in Endgame.
I'm really glad that we didn't see their courtship, because to me that wouldn't have fit in with the it wouldn't have fit. True. Like, why do I have this overarching love story happening here, and we got the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance? I don't care.
You're right. No, listen, that is one of my pet peeves in action movies. I do not care. Save the world. We can have sex after. Like 100%. Go save the world.
Nah, there needs to be a love story all the time. Do I care? No, but that's just seems to be what happens. Like
I don't want it. I don't want to see them kissing.
Really fun action movies always have some random bitch in there that the guy is like, cool, like, let me just have to make out with her before the explosion. Like, it makes no sense.
I hate it. Let me tell you, it is the bait. I hate it.
I don't get it. like I guess women aren't going to watch if there's no love element. It's like, I want to see some shit blow up.
There has to be dudes. There has to be dudes who agree with us too, because it takes away from the story. There's literally meteors coming to Earth that are gonna blow us up. We do not have time to make out right now.
Let me tell you. So this is something that's so annoying, and it has to do with the Arrowverse over in the DC side of things. But in the Flash and the Arrow show, they actually had a double wedding. That's not a lie. That shit happened. Okay, they had a double wedding in a park because everybody cared that these motherfuckers wasn't married, and I was like, I don't care. Can we get back to the fun saving the world shit? They had a double wedding. The Flash married Iris, and Arrow. I'm sorry if y'all haven't seen the shows, but Arrow married what's his face, his little secretary chick.
I watched The Flash, but I didn't watch Arrow.
Oh yeah, it was a crossover episode, and it happened in the Arrow show, not the.
Oh, okay. So I was spared. All right, cool.
It was sad.
I was scared. Oh man,
it's useless every time. But
listen, I realize that in the comics, physical comic books, they have to have the episodes, the comic book. When Superman and Lois got together, it was a big deal. There was one issue dedicated to that. Great. That's fine. But in the middle, if we're in the middle of the Killing Joke, you don't see Batman off with Catwoman having intimate affairs. None of that happens.
Well, you're right. But if they do hook up and the suits stay on. Okay, we moving. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're getting way off topic. But what I'm saying is, I don't like it.
WandaVision. WandaVision is what we were talking about.
I did have some interesting. Okay, so the things that I really appreciated about House of M was the break in reality, right? And I'm seeing that in WandaVision, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But the issue I feel with this kind of trope, so the reason why in the comic books that her reality breaks is because she's not able to have children, right? So
her man is just a glorified dildo. So there's that.
That's true, but also, it's also said that she could never have children. There's also some weird, obviously, because they changed Wanda's character. There's some weird background, stuff with her background. But she can't have children with Vision, so she creates children, and in that reality, it explodes. So I wish that we would get away from this idea that women who have to experience something traumatic to be strong and to be, to show their power. Her mind altered, and that's why this fucking incredible, this whole new reality was created, and people died because of it, and it's all because she couldn't have kids, and it's I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they might have changed that in this, and I think the thing that probably broke her was the snap, and on top, she lost her brother, she lost her lover, and she snaps. So those three things, I think, are what caused the break. What I enjoyed about this was we watched the first episode, and then we see someone is watching the episode with us. And it looks like that person is from SWORD. So SWORD is the government agency that was in charge of monitoring what's happening in space. So it's like S.H.I.E.L.D. for space. So there's some element here that's related to space, so we could see Skrulls come back,
right? Which makes sense because that's how they explained House of M, away for a few things. So
so we could see Skrulls. I still think we're gonna see Mephisto. I feel like Mephisto is the thing that can happen. Also, the neighbor Agnes could relate to Agatha Harkness.
Which would be great.
Agnes. Also, the neighbor kept mentioning her husband, Frank. Where is Frank? Never saw Frank.
Never seen him. Where he at?
Where's Frank?
Yeah.
He also cut her hand and then didn't have any bandages the next day at the
the head of the head of the neighborhood watch lady. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she cut her hand. Right.
The Agnes neighbor is the brunette one, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the one that keeps coming in.
You talking about the blonde?
Yes, and I love that actress, Catherine Hahn, I think her name is. I love her. I love her. And I'm excited to see more of her in that role in this show.
Yes, she reminded me of the nosy neighbor from Bewitched. I also loved how in episode 2 they changed the opening credits, and it was more like the Bewitched credits, while the opening credits for season 1 was more like Dick Van Dyke Show. So at the end of episode 2, when she changed everything to color, I'm thinking we're gonna get Brady Bunch.
Yes, I'm thinking Brady Bunch also. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I mean, that's kind of weird because there's no family, but like.
But there is. She's pregnant.
Oh, she got twins. Yeah. Also, maybe they skip all the way ahead and she's already had the babies.
So the weird thing about episode 2 was they kept saying for the children. This is for the children. Where are the children? There were no children in the town.
That's another huge point. Like I know for a fact I wrote down the absence of children, but there being an emphasis on children because she couldn't have kids and she wanted kids, and that was like a whole.
Everybody said, how many times did they say for the children, in unison? It sounded it was so creepy. Weird. Yes, this show is creepy. Like this show is creepy, and I keep thinking like it's just gonna get creepier. Also, you know what I mean? Like,
what was the noise at the beginning of episode 2?
The tree was hitting the wall.
Yeah.
But then she found the airplane. So I think it was the airplane breaching the helicopter breaching the perimeter wherever she is. Whatever thing she's created, I think that airplane got through, and that's what hit whatever. But she turned it into just a tree hitting the window.
Gosh, it's so creepy to think of the things that you don't see or the things that you see and hear, just imagining them to be something completely different so that your body doesn't freak out. You know what I mean? So that you don't.
And we do it all the time. We do it all the time. We go, that's not that. That's not that.
Like, calm down. You're fine. And so, like, at the end of episode 2, when she sees that dude disappear, she's just like, no. I was just like,
I wish I could do that. I wish I could look at something and be like, nah, that didn't happen, and rewind and do it over. I wish. Can you imagine if you got a bill in the mail and you could just be like, no,
absolutely not. Not paying it.
And go back in time and you never checked the mail and the bill was never there. I wish.
Yeah, that
would be great.
God,
I love that she was like, no,
this won't do.
I will not have it. I will not have it though.
Oh, it was so good, and I'm really excited to see how it moves forward. I was really worried about the show. I didn't know what it was going to be like, and I was worried about the character, and now I feel like things are going just swell. You know, really excited.
No, you didn't just say swell.
I did.
You know she likes these words.
PC King.
She likes to use these words to make it seem older. You know she likes to do this.
Well,
I'm a solid 87. Don't I look?
Are you also white and a man? Like, what's going on here?
On occasion, who's going to stop me? Okay, it won't do.
Listen, if people out here claiming to be Latinas and Black women,
right,
and whatever, if she wants to claim to be a middle-aged white man, let her.
Hey, listen, if you can pull that off, I say more power to you and shit.
I am Steve on the inside, and I just need you guys.
You know what? Own your personhood.
I'm
own your personhood.
You guys, your own identity. Absolutely.
Listen, you should be able to own that. I think we should all be able to do that. Because clearly everybody is out here just appropriating whatever they feel like appropriating, however they feel like doing it, which brings us to the Disness of the day.
Disness.
Ladies, last week, Ashley told us that her favorite movie was The Lion King. And I asked you all if you had seen the live action version of said movie, and both of you told me you had not. I felt it was my duty to force you to watch this atrocity. Just kidding. I felt it was to the benefit of our listeners for us to discuss Lion King in depth as a group. Because it had been turned into a live action. That's a misnomer since it was mostly CGI. Live action, but also discuss another movie that some people also bring up when talking about Lion King. Are you guys familiar with Simba the White Lion?
I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's first talk about Lion King. I know Ashley had talked a little bit last week about why she loved it and how she enjoyed Simba, that singing lion. But on your rewatch of it this week, what were some things that stood out to you?
It's very colorful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I remembered how colorful that movie was. It's super colorful.
It was beautiful.
I feel like The Lion King and Aladdin are really colorful, and then the rest of them are kind of like a little bit muted, kind of. Maybe it's because they're older. I don't know. But I feel like those two movies are the most colorful. And that stood out to me the most. But that was probably because I was super high while I was watching it.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that. I just remember when I turned it on. I haven't actually seen Lion King, the animated movie, probably in a good number of years. I think Lion King came out 2 years ago. So I watched it right before I watched the live action, just as a refresher. So that was the last time I watched it. I'm gonna agree with you on the coloring, but that opening sequence is beautiful,
gorgeous.
Wait, are we talking about the animated version or the 3D animated version?
Yes, the animated version, not the
original 1994.
Yes.
All right.
It is that opening sequence is beautiful, and the music with the Swahili and it's beautiful, and you feel like, I mean, it just felt like home. Like, it just felt good.
That song will put a battery in your back, man. The Circle of Life, it'll get you charged up. And it's not even a charged up song, but it's like it gets your soul charged up. You be like, fuck yeah, I am a Negro, goddammit.
Yes. You ready to go and like run with the gazelles and
it's good.
Feeling black as fuck, super powerful.
You're like, I'm about to turn it up, turn it down. We're doing it all day. That's definitely how it makes me feel, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought the CGI animated version was beautiful too, but definitely not as emotional, because you couldn't really see the emotion on the characters' faces. So it was just like,
okay. Can I just go down my notes with you guys for the live action version? Okay, because I took a rather serious perspective while I was watching the live action quote unquote version of the movie. And I didn't dislike it as much as I thought I would. I did wonder how it was for James Earl Jones to be doing the same movie over again. It was I think maybe 5 or 6 lines were different. Other than that, all of James Earl Jones's lines were exactly the same as the animated version.
Yeah.
And I bet that felt weird to him. It would feel weird to me. Like, why did y'all need me to do this again? Y'all couldn't just use the 94 recording, remaster that shit and send me a check or something. Right. Anyway, I also appreciated John Kanai as the choice for Rafiki, since his original voice actor is among the ancestors now.
Yeah.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. I love him. He has my whole heart. I love him so much. I once did a fantasy casting where I cast all of the Game of Thrones show with Black actors, and he was my Ned, because it just fits. It feels right when you hear it. It sits well in your soul.
Yes, it does.
He is Ned. Anyway, I loved him as the bad guy. I really did. I loved him as Scar.
Okay.
I feel like he did Be Prepared justice for what he was given. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't the original. It wasn't a bop like the original was. But it was dark, and it was somber, and it suited the overall aesthetic of the movie. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I also wasn't mad at the newer rendition of Hakuna Matata. Timon and Pumbaa are still funny as fuck in this live action version. They're funny as hell. Loved that.
Yeah.
I wrote down a line that said, "You've grown 400 pounds since we started." When Simba wanted to keep on singing, it was like, I think we're done.
It's been a while. It's cute.
I got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah.
All right. Are y'all Beyonce fans?
No.
Oh, yes.
No, sorry. I'm the resident non-Beyonce fan in the group.
Okay. I am also a Beyonce fan. I feel like we established that, I think.
We have.
She is a terrible actress.
Yes. Yes.
I just cannot take it. I can't take it.
Yes. And this is not her first time doing voice acting, and you would think that voice acting would be so. A lot of people think that voice acting is easier. It's not. Voice acting is acting, and if you cannot act, don't think that voice acting is any easier. It's not. And she's horrible. She's a horrible actress.
I would agree with that.
She does amazing. The soundtrack was fucking fire, right? Like the song, beautiful. But yeah, I'll say her voice sounds nice in general. I like the way her speaking voice is, but she just
Lions are not from Houston.
Oh,
Lions are not from Houston.
I feel like she did a good
Lions are not from Houston.
Concealing her Houston accent. I feel like she did a good enough job with that. For me, it's just she falls flat all the time.
Lioness, are you with me? No, we're not. It's not.
She doesn't have that range of emotion, which is weird because she has it when she's singing. So it's like, why can't you do it when you're talking? I just don't get it.
Have you ever heard her talk though? Like when she's off script? Have you heard her talk? She's not good at the talking.
But maybe what she needs to do is approach it like she did her stage persona. She separated Beyonce from Sasha Fierce.
Yes,
so I feel like Sasha Fierce could probably be an actress, but Beyonce, I don't think Beyonce has it in her.
Correct.
So
correct. I'm with you there.
She's very withdrawn. It seems like she's not as emotional as she should be.
What emotions? The woman does not have. You know what? Let me stop because this is not I have thoughts on Beyonce, but this is not the time to talk about that. But I think that is exactly what limits her. She does not have enough personality to do that. A lot of the things you brought up, I agree with. I think that like Timon and Pumbaa were about it for me for this movie. Like they and Zazu, like they were the only characters I were like, okay, because these lions didn't have any personality because their features didn't, like cats don't have, like cats can't make facial expressions. So it was flat. It was just flat. And I was like, I needed to see Simba smile, and like cats don't smile. Like, and so if I couldn't relate, and then I had no reason to feel sympathy for this cat. I had felt no sympathy for Simba. He just felt entitled to me.
I think in my head, I was definitely comparing the two. So I was thinking I kind of felt like, I was kind of watching it as if I was watching the animated version. Like, cause I've seen it so many times. I know exactly what's going to happen frame by frame. It didn't seem that different to me, but I mean, so I still felt for Simba because I just know that moment and I'm like, that sucks.
I agree.
But I mean, I still enjoyed it. Like it was all right, but it definitely, the emotions from everything, like that moment where he's squeezing up next to dead Mufasa. It's like, it's sad, but it's not as sad because you can't see the fucking desperation on his face to like try and wake his father up. That's the difference. So it was like,
it's
okay.
Like, why? I understand the appeal to make the princess movies into live action movies. You know what I'm saying? You want to capture a younger audience, and it's money. There's money to be made there, and it makes sense to turn a cartoon person into a regular human person. It doesn't make any sense to take a cartoon lion and turn it into a computer generated cartoon lion. Like there's just
Yeah.
She's gonna ring this point home, you guys. If you guys are not aware, she's gonna tell you this was not live action. It was 3D.
It was redundant. There was no reason for it.
Yeah.
It was the same almost line for line. What was the point?
So there was one scene that I did not like the change that was made when Simba, and this might just be my Beyonce dissatisfaction, but overlaying Beyonce's song with Simba running back home. I liked the original song that was there, that African song that was there when he was running home, and I didn't really like her song, so. But I understand she had to have a song in the movie, so I get it. I miss Be Prepared.
That was just dripping with disdain. She had to have a song in the movie, so
I mean, I'm pretty sure her contract said if she was in the movie, she had to have a song in the film. I'm pretty sure that's how she wrote it. Just saying. Yeah, y'all know I don't like her. Anyways, it's okay. Yeah, I came out of that movie when I saw it because I see most of the Disney movies when they come first weekend. I was very dissatisfied, but like I said, Timon and Pumbaa were on point. Zazu I enjoyed. Like I said, having like you had said, having James Earl Jones come back. I mean, both James Earl Jones and the woman who played Sarabi come back. Was great.
No, that's not the original Sarabi. The original
it's not?
Sarabi is dead.
Oh no! Damn. I did not know that.
You're right. It's the chick who played Black
Coming to America.
Coming from him. That's right. That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say.
No, the original Sarabi is the mother from Coming to America, and then the new Sarabi is hold on.
The chick who played what's her face's aunt or cousin in Luke Cage, Black Mariah, that actress. I'm almost positive. Okay. I recognize her voice. I was like, I know you.
Alfre Woodard.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. I did not know that. I thought it was the same. Okay. I thought it was the same.
But I do appreciate, I mean, obviously Disney was not about to remake this movie and fill it with white actors and stuff. So I'm glad they reached out and got different Black actors.
Simba from the animated movie was Matthew Broderick.
I know. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. They weren't going to remake it in 2019 or.
Oh yeah.
And not have Black actors filling those roles. So
which is interesting because Ashley had said last week that she was like, you can't tell me these lines are Black. I'm like, but they aren't. Most of them were white, but
no, they were voiced by white actors, and that happens sometimes in animation where characters of color are voiced by white people. It happens. It doesn't.
I hear you, girl. I hear you.
Not a character of color. You know what I'm saying? That's just
I hear you. All right. So you guys also watched Kimba, the White Lion, and what did we learn?
Same ass fucking movie.
Yeah,
but are we surprised? Because name me an original Disney story.
Listen, there are none, and I wanted to sort of touch on that too. Disney has this
Inside. I mean, the Pixar movies are mostly.
Those are mostly original.
Most of those are original.
I'll say Inside Out. What was the last one? Soul was pretty original. Pixar seems to
Cars, Toy Story, all the Pixar ones.
Classic core Disney movies are all adaptations.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, the princess movies that are popular are usually taken from other other fairy tales that have been grossly bastardized. I was just seeing this meme the other day, and it was the most hilarious lie that Disney has told is that Zeus is a family man and Hercules. Come on now, Zeus is out there running and ripping in them streets.
A whore.
The whole reason Hercules exists is because he cheated on Hera. It's not cute. But it's it's that kind of thing where they and because Disney is so huge and popular, it just changes the fairy tale. Now the fairy tale different because Disney made their commentary, and this is what they put forth for generations.
Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know what Wreck-It Ralph is based off of. I think Wreck-It Ralph's pretty original.
Pixar does some original things.
Pixar is original. Disney
right.
is not
Wreck-It
original.
Ralph is not a Pixar film. Wreck-It Ralph is a Disney film.
Oh. Interesting.
Yep, Wreck-It Ralph is Disney. Disney animated. So I know it looks like, I think everyone thinks Pixar because it's like, a video game, but Wreck-It Ralph it was like, so the last, before Wreck-It Ralph, Princess and the Frog was what kickstarted Disney animation studios. Because most of the cartoons coming out of Disney were coming from Pixar, and then they bought Pixar, and so they have technically two animation studios going. So there's Disney Animation, and then there's Pixar, and so they usually have two animated movies that come out each year. One's a Pixar movie, and one's a Disney movie. But Wreck-It Ralph is a Disney movie, and that's original. As far as the last one that came out, that was original. To answer your question.
Are there any original Disney movies? Yes.
The most recent one. Yeah.
I'm glad they, starting to do. They've been doing original things lately, but as far as like the most popular, other than maybe Moana, which is probably something that
Moana's. Yes, they took that too. That's.
Is it taken? Okay. Yeah. All right. Never mind then. Yeah. So I guess the princess stories, maybe the stories that they do based on cultures and stuff, are usually taken from, because even Frozen, I read up, was taken from
That's Hans Christian Andersen. That's the white, what's it called?
Yeah, the White Queen or Snow Queen.
The Snow Queen. Yep, that's a Hans Christian Andersen, the same guy who wrote The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I didn't know this was about things. I wasn't really that into Frozen, right? I saw the first movie, and then I did some research on it, and they actually were able to connect with some of the indigenous people of that culture to get that story right. And I was like, oh, yikes, y'all.
Yeah, I think, and they fixed a little bit of that story with the second movie. They got some of the culture, they got a lot of the culture right with the first movie, and I don't think people realize how much of the culture is in that movie, because everyone just thinks, oh, white people. I'm like, it's a little deeper than just some white people, because people think, you're in the Nordic area, people are just like, yeah, white people. I'm like, yeah, but there's shades of white people.
different tans.
Yes.
And some aren't considered white until it's convenient. So
right, because you talk to some Polish people, spicy. You talk to but it's true. Ask some Irish folk. Ask some Irish folk, and they will say, we only got to be white when y'all black people started to ask for jobs.
Same with Italian people.
I was gonna say, ask the Italians. They'd be like, "Yeah, we only white because y'all just started to try to work." So.
Right, some white people only just
over there in Eastern Europe.
Right, a lot of Eastern Europe. Listen, if you don't know if you guys have ever seen Fiddler on the Roof, but I mean, Jewish people and black people, we're very close on the, you know what I mean? And it's just a matter of, I don't know. So when I don't even want to get into this whole race discussion, but white people come in shades too, right? But they don't like to talk about that because they just focus on us, which makes it a whole lot easier for them as a whole.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Kimba, the white lion.
Is that what we're talking
about? Here we go.
Follows the story. Very similarly to The Lion King. And I remember when I first came across it, I was like, was this made after The Lion King? Because it was so similar. So it's a Japanese manga. And it was actually a book first that was turned into an anime. And it follows a lion who is ejected from his pride because his father dies, and has to come back and fight for his rightful place.
Yeah, it's frame by frame the same movie. I do have one question though.
Familiar.
It does. The only thing I have a question about is when I was watching that opening sequence where Kimba is like running through like everything to roar because his son was born. I was like, yo, how did you die falling off a thing? Because he was just hopping, he was leaping across a full field of shit. And I was like, sir, how did you die? Because you could have just used them legs and flown away.
Oh man, I don't know. Animes are weird. I don't know. I don't know if either one of you watches anime, but animes are weird.
I do watch anime, and sometimes they don't make sense. That's right.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like if you had made a different choice, I guess the anime wouldn't be longer. So
exactly, right? Exactly.
I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this came out in 1965 originally.
Damn.
The manga and I'm sorry, the first anime. And the film came out in 1966.
Yeah, they stole that 100%. I mean, I'll say this: Disney does steal shit, but they improve it. I mean, they made it better. Like I would have much rather watched Lion King than Kimba, for sure.
That's facts. And also, you know, did they maybe compensate the creators, and maybe it was a shit compensation, or did they just straight up rip them off, and the original creators got no justice?
I mean, I would hope that I feel like if they had just ripped them off, then they would be in the news right now getting sued, right?
So Matthew Broderick said that when he was hired to play Simba, he assumed that it was based off of Kimba.
Shit.
So I don't know.
All I can say is, okay, so usually in situations like this, if we're not hearing a bunch of riffraff around it, then that usually means somebody got their money, right?
No, they didn't get any money. They never pursued anything. They never talked to Disney. They never.
That sounds crazy.
Here's something in the Washington Post that says Lion King has been clouded by intellectual property controversy for 25 years.
Well, let me shut the fuck up. Go ahead.
Let's see. Scanning. Yes. What?
And Suzuka Productions have never pursued litigation against the Walt Disney Company for copyright infringement. The company's director stated that many of the employees saw resemblances between the two properties, but any similarities in their plots are based on the facts and nature, and therefore the two works are different. In his book, he states that the controversy started in America and people inflated the issue because of their opposition to Disney's business practices. He also stated that he refuses to participate in this denunciation of Disney and that he does not want to see his father's works being turned into a weapon for those people. So he's not going to do anything. He doesn't want the drama. He basically is like, whatever.
Y'all can have it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
they got their money, 30 years beforehand. You know what I mean? Like it came out in the 60s.
Yeah. So there it is.
It just seems because Disney is they will litigate the shit out of somebody for copyright infringement. Like they have gone after like small family businesses for selling licensed Disney costumes.
Damn.
Do you guys remember when the school shootings? Well, do you guys remember 2019? But when the school shootings happened, people were making bulletproof backpacks.
Yeah.
And Disney did not want to make Disney themed ones because they were like, nah, we're not doing that. But people were like, well, my kid likes Frozen and I want my kid to have a bulletproof backpack. So third parties were making bulletproof backpacks with Disney characters on them. And Disney was like, no. And yes, to Ashley's point, they shut that down immediately.
They will do that. Disney is like, if we don't get a cut, you don't get anything, period. You have to ask us permission. And that's that. And that's their right. They have copywritten these images and, you know, these whatevers. And so they have the right to take this legal action. But then it's like, you know, y'all be stealing though. So it's like, it's a testament to the way power dynamics are in the world of capitalism.
Because, you know, it does very true.
To fight the mouse? Who has the money to fight the mouse? Nobody does.
Nobody does, especially since Disney owns everything. Yeah. Like they own the only thing they don't own is a cell phone company.
I was just thinking that, like, they're just that step away from having a monopoly. Like, if they become an internet provider, that's it.
Yeah, they just need towers because they have Hulu, they own property, they have cruise ships, they have hotels, they have network broadcasting in other countries. They have all of their movie houses. They have radio.
They have food.
They have food. Yeah, they have food. They make. Yep, that's right. So the only thing that they don't have is communications, like internet or cell phone towers. So if they got that, they literally would be by and large, like from WALL-E.
Yep.
They would be by and large.
And you know,
they got together with Amazon.
Oh goodness! But Amazon would have to be an internet provider. They would have to start providing internet, and they're that same step away.
They're close. It's a lot. We're supposed to have laws in place to make sure this shit don't happen, but you know, I guess.
And you know, but I feel like the fact that the internet is the last thing standing in these mega corporations' way is like why we had all that internet provider drama for the past few years. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, with Comcast and everything.
Yeah.
Because it's Comcast, mind you, it's Comcast, NBC, Universal.
Yes.
It's them three together. It's not just Comcast.
Agreed.
Shit is wild.
Yeah, it is. That is actually very scary.
It is.
Every dystopian future movie, not every, I shouldn't say that, but a common trope in dystopian futuristic movies is that it started like this, with like there being just one mega corporation that provided everybody with everything and then eventually destroyed the fucking planet.
I mean, we're getting close. We're getting close to whatever that end game is. End game. Speaking of end game, I believe I have some tea.
Uh-oh.
Spill it.
I'm about to spill some tea. Oh. I met with Mrs. Potts earlier today, guys.
We got some tea for you.
I do. She gave me some tea. She gave me some hot scalding tea, and she gave me some sweet tea too. All right, I'm gonna start with the sweet stuff. I don't know if you guys saw the rumor that was going around that Steve, I want to keep calling him Steve. His name is Chris. Chris Evans might be coming back as Captain America. He said that it was news to him, but I think he's just being cagey because Marvel people aren't supposed to talk about stuff until Marvel gives them the A-OK. But I really think that that's something that could go down.
Yeah.
Especially given what's going on with WandaVision and her going to be popping up with the multiverse with when that comes out with Doctor Strange and what's going to be happening with Spider-Man. I think we could possibly see Steve Rogers come back. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'd be into that. That's America's ass right there. I'm going to watch it all day.
I'm on board. I'm on board, especially with the news that came out that there was a bit of a, I guess, a plot leak with the toys from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. We've actually seen what Sam is going to look like in the new Captain America costume. So if he does come back, if Captain America does come back, Steve does come back, I should say, he could be coming back as old Cap, or he could be coming back in another dimension.
I like that.
I can see us going into the dimension. Yeah. I think that
Cap doesn't do anything for me.
And it's all about the visuals.
Exactly.
It's all about the visuals. And some other rumor news. It came out recently that Michael Fassbender is being rumored for a villain role in the MCU, and they might be eyeing him as Dr. Doom.
I mean, I dig it. It means he won't be Magneto anymore, but I think that's okay. Give somebody else a chance at that.
I don't like it. I don't know. I don't see him as Dr. Doom. I liked him as younger Magneto.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if they revamp the whole X-Men franchise, I don't think they should recast everybody. I feel like everybody should just be who they are, and you just give me new storylines.
I mean, that's a solid, that's a solid idea. I mean, I would
even be okay with Sansa staying Jean Grey.
Yeah,
I would be okay with that.
Me too.
I didn't really like her movie, but she could come back.
Great. It wasn't great, but I can't blame the actors and actresses for having horrible writing. Every time they do Dark Phoenix, they fuck it up, so it's not their fault. They just can't handle a complex, strong ass female character, apparently.
Damn.
Yeah, I think the issue with Dark Phoenix the second time was they were hamstringed by what was happening with Captain Marvel. So they were in competition with that. So I think that caused a lot of issues. Plus, Fox was in the middle of a merger deal with Disney, so they weren't giving it its 100% attention. And that movie got changed so many times because it was supposed to have Skrulls in it.
It was supposed to be better for sure, but again, they were transitioning. They didn't have their focus on it, as much as they could have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't be mad at them for asking us to just ignore those movies. Like, hey, listen, that happened. We're sorry. My bad. Here are these fresh timelines and plot points and stories, and we can just go from here.
Yeah.
We can move forward together.
I would
I think that's what they might have to do. But I think that's why moving into the multiverse helps them, because what they could end up telling us is that after the snap, when things went back, we actually came back to a different timeline.
Right.
So all those other things never happened in this timeline.
Sure.
I mean, there's a way for them to write us out of all of the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Because mutants might not materialize until after the snap, as far as the MCU goes.
Right. Which could be interesting. I mean, like, I trust Disney's handling of the stories enough to keep me interested and to not ruin my characters, like, as a fan. Like, I feel like they'll be able to make it work, and so I feel confident that watching it will be, like, their reboot would be good. But those first two movies, those FX movies, those first mutant movies were still pretty good. So it's not like FX did X-Men terribly the whole time. So I don't know. We'll just see.
I like all the X-Men movies, but I mean, I also, Wolverine will always be Wolverine. What is his name? What is his name?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman will always be my Wolverine, even though he's too tall.
So fine.
Even though he's too tall. He's way too tall.
Way too tall.
Even though he's too tall, he will always be my Wolverine, and I don't care.
I feel like half of Wolverine's anger comes from his Napoleon complex. Like, why is he so angry if he's tall and fine and muscular? What is he mad about?
Right?
He's mad because bones jut out of his fingers when people mess with him, and it hurts. That's why he's mad, Ashley.
He's still so short. He's supposed to be 5'4" in the comics, right? And he still pulls all the women.
He's supposed to be a little shorty.
But I still don't understand why he's mad. He still be pulling all.
I mean, he got charm. He's had centuries to build up his neck. Of course,
ladies love a
women.
neck.
But he even hooked up with Storm. Storm is like a foot taller than that dude. He was just like, "Come on, girl."
Listen, he just hooks up with everybody. He's old as hell.
I love it. So good. Oh,
man is old. All right. Switching to business news, Disney has decided to stop its annual passes because they're not seeing an end to coronavirus anytime soon. Neither are we. And it just doesn't make business sense for them. Well, obviously, if you have a annual pass and you can't go to the parks, it doesn't make sense for you either. Although a lot of their annual pass holders are upset about not being able to use that, because economically, if you go to the parks more than twice a year, it just makes sense to have an annual pass. Because the tickets for to take a family of more than 3 to Disney, any of the Disney parks, is a lot of money. So having an annual pass pays for itself in 2 trips. So a lot of people are upset. The Disney parks, I think, are still open, except for the Disneyland, I think, is closed right now because they're using it as a vaccine distribution center. So, which is nice of Disney. It's a good central location. And California is still in like purple. I think they created a new color for criticality because of how severe it was spreading. And I just learned today that Massachusetts, we got our first case of the coronavirus that spreads more quickly. So the mutated one.
Oh, fuck.
That's it for the sweet tea. Now, I think, Neecie, you got some hot tea.
Oh, yes, I got the HOTTIE. Yes. Okay, actually, it's not cute. So first off, last week, I know we touched a little bit on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and their trash. Actually, Johnny Depp is currently filing like a $50 million defamation suit against Amber for all these issues with, what she's telling, the media and stuff about their relationship. But now she's actually subpoenaing Disney and all their records of dealing with Johnny Depp and any issues involving his filming, any issues he's had with directors, any times he was late. Like, they're trying to get every single thing to prove that he was a drug addict and unfit.
I think her ask is too broad, and the judge is going to throw it out. I think her lawyers are being much too exploratory. I understand the point they're trying to prove with their but I also think that his lawyers have to push back because it's digging at this point. Because are you going to find something if you dig that deep? Of course. Yeah. He had a problem for a while with the drinking. And he did cause very serious delays for that movie. But I don't think that they should be allowed to pull anything that's not directly related to her cases. Like, if your name isn't on the documents, you shouldn't be able to pull it.
I do think, obviously she's trying to do a character assassination, right? Like, she's trying to prove that no matter what he says, you can't really trust him because he was a drug addict and he was an alcoholic, and, his words can't be trusted. Now, that does scream something. That's something abusers do. That's something narcissists and people who are trying to hide their the truth, they do that. Like, she's trying to just decimate what we think of him as a whole, and that's, I get it, but I definitely I think she's too broad too, and I think it's definitely gonna get thrown out, and it's not gonna work.
I think it should get thrown out. I don't understand what her end game is. I guess I do know what her end game is,
to ruin him.
But it's so dirty now. And I feel like, girl, haven't you done enough? Like, haven't you gotten whatever it is you set out to do? Like,
I guess not.
He ruined enough. Like, what more do you want?
Well, she didn't expect to be called out and caught. I guess that's what it is. She didn't expect to get recorded. I'll say this. I'll say, like, I wasn't in a relationship, so I don't know who did what and what started what and every fight that they had, how it began and how it ended. But I'll say this. There's only one person that's fighting, and it is not Johnny Depp. Like, he is not out here trying to. He wasn't the one that started these types of, issues, and these was her.
No,
so it's like,
the statement that he put out when they divorced was, we had a rough relationship. There was hurt on both sides. There was bad things on both sides. We're going to separate because that's better for both of us. And then here she came with, he was abusive. He did all the stuff. And it was like, girl, I thought y'all decided to.
So she came with, I was abused.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, wait, hold on. That's not what we talked about. So what?
Yeah. And so it's uncomfortable. But we'll see what Disney complies to. They haven't responded to the subpoena yet, so it's likely that they probably won't. But we'll see.
I mean, and the thing is, though, the issue with exploratory things like that is other things come out, because it might not just be bad for Johnny; it might be bad for Disney.
That's
because
true.
If you want every text message, we don't know what other things might have been in those emails. Because remember when Sony's emails got leaked? It was part of the WikiLeaks things, and we found out that they didn't want Black people to do, like, it was bad for Sony. Like, Disney might be like, no,
never mind,
because we talk bad. Like, they might have said something about Selma Hayek. You know what I mean? They might have said, you know what I mean? There might be incriminating things that Disney's like, I know, we're not doing that.
Take that back.
Right. So this doesn't bode well for anybody.
For anyone. Yeah. And then she's trying to also subpoena the LAPD so that she can get any information on any arrests or any, calls or anything. So yeah, she is digging. She's digging deep, and that makes me feel like she's not correct. That makes me okay. So the next order of hot tea is about this actor named Armie Hammer. I would consider him kind of new because I think I've only heard about him in the last 3 to 5 years. He's been in a couple things, but he was recently supposed to be in a movie with Jennifer Lopez. I believe it was supposed to be on Netflix called Shotgun Wedding.
Yes.
And so it was a pretty big deal. It was advertised. I remember seeing the little advertisement and wanting to watch it. So I was like, okay. But then it seems to have come out that he is into some pretty dark things sexually. And his text messages were screenshotted on Twitter by one of the women that he was hooking up with. And it talks about a lot of encompassed slave fantasies, cannibalism fantasies, including blood-sucking and mutilation, with quotes that say things like, I am 100% a cannibal. And so it's terrifying, to say the least. But these were just coming from one person who was dealing with him. I'm not sure if she was in an actual relationship with him, but apparently he called her kitten. But then, like, later on, like within like 2 days of her releasing that information, his ex, he's also getting divorced. He was getting divorced.
Right, he's in the middle of a divorce.
So then his ex-girlfriend, who he was seeing in like once him and his wife like separated, he was seeing somebody else back like last year, and she was also confirming that this is how he talks and this is who he is. And I did some more research, and he actually posted pictures on his Instagram of like really large knives that were like, let me cut something. Those were like the captions, and it's a mess.
Some of the things that she referenced him saying to her were really alarming. It was, I mean, beyond him saying that he thought cannibalism was enticing, he said that he was also emotionally abusive.
Right.
Like, he made her do things that, like, her looking back, she wasn't descriptive. I'm trying to find the name of the ex-girlfriend, but he made her he made her feel, I guess, wanted, and like he encompassed her, right? Which happens a lot. It's called the love bombing. Like he loved her and then made her feel like he couldn't do without her and then drained her of like everything. And then on top of that was this cannibalism. Like I think one of the things she said was he, like whenever she would get a cut, he wanted to lick it.
Yes.
Gross.
Oh, just creepy things. And yes, it's also scary because he is abusive in general. Like the verbal abuse and emotional abuse is probably the scariest part because that means he could be manipulating the women that he deals with.
So I read the Page 6 article where they interviewed the girlfriend that you were talking about, Neecie. And it was scary. So one of the things I don't like to do in general, when I first heard about the story, so like I generally don't like to kink shame, because people have different kinks. So I wanted to find out more information. But this is beyond just regular kink. I think, when it comes to kink for me, I want to understand where the kink comes from, because I think a lot of our kinks and I think we've talked about this before on your other show, like I think a lot of kinks come from your environment, your background, and your mental state, and I think a lot of that plays into it. He's got something going on with him that is not okay.
Wrong.
So I hope he gets into some therapy.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be into BDSM and to be into different types of kink and to want to have somebody that submits to you and to explore pain. Like those are different things. But it seems like because he's using what seems like abuse tactics, that it's incredibly dangerous no matter what. Like it seems like he's manipulating people into consent.
Right. I still think his name is funny. Do you think that contributes to why he's acting like he's acting?
Okay, so Armie Hammer is an heir to the Arm & Hammer.
Okay. Because this whole time I was like,
is he really?
Is he related to the Arm & Hammer? Because I was like, why is his name? Why would you name him Hammer? Why would you name him that?
Yeah, I just found out about it because like apparently like people are trying to figure out like why this is so like strange and so gross and coming out like this. And it's like lots of people think it's because he's rich, and you know how rich people are, like they can get everything. So sometimes your kinks can get very perverted because you can get whatever you want all the time. So then,
not to say that poor people can also be weird.
No, that's very true. Poor people can't, but it's just like the amount of access. Like it's kind of like how you can get addicted to porn so easily if you watch it all the time. You're used to like regular stuff, and then you get really into the dark shit. Like it's just kind of like that. Like so
I could see that having a whole bunch of money giving you access to do a whole lot of perverted things that you probably wouldn't be able to do legally if you didn't have the money to like pay somebody to shut the fuck up about it.
That's facts. I'm trying to see if it's me, perhaps.
So yeah, I think when I first heard his name, I immediately was like, how does it sound like Arm & Hammer? It was just very strange. And I was like, I didn't know if I was, I was just being like weird about this man's name, if he had like made it up. But yeah, I definitely think, as we said earlier, he needs some kind. I hope he gets therapy. And I hope that the women who have dealt with him also get therapy, because there's definitely some PTSD issues here that come out of dealing with people who have undealt with issues that then bring those issues to other relationships and just think that that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think we see that like all the time, but this is an extreme case.
Yeah, this is pretty extreme, especially like, and I think that people would use this to sort of shame people who have kinks and stuff.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, it's not kink. This is not normal kink behavior. Like PDSM, they definitely make sure that everybody's consenting and that there shouldn't be abuse involved. If there is, then that's not really, it's not acceptable.
And that's another thing too. And I'm sure at some point we'll have a conversation about other forms of BDSM and kink, because I think there is a whole thing within the Disney fandom with turning some of these And I'm sure you guys have heard, like, with Beauty and the Beast and her whole relationship with him and Stockholm Syndrome and whether or not, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm sure that's a topic we will discuss on the show. But speaking of princes or dukedoms, princesses who end up in these new roles, did you guys watch other Disness? Did you guys watch Bridgerton?
Yes, very much.
Yes, I watched Bridgerton.
As fans of Disney, I think we are often drawn to shows that are like Bridgerton, that give us this fantasy-like view into court life. But this was, for me, everything I could want in trashy drama set in Elizabeth. No, well, obviously not. What's her name? Georgian times.
Yes.
King George the third.
Yes.
Yes, King George's Georgian times. This show was great. I loved it. And I also didn't know it was based off books, which for me, I was like, oh, well, clearly there's some books that I need to go read.
Yes. I also enjoyed it. The one thing I didn't really curl all the way over for me was the rape scene, but otherwise
we'll get there. Oh yes.
It was good. I mean, I liked the Duke. I liked how it was mostly I enjoyed how race didn't seem to be a huge issue. And that was very cool to me. I thought I've never really seen a period piece where race didn't really matter. So I thought that was kind of lit.
I enjoyed that too. I do wish that they had left out that little scene between the Duke and I'm gonna call her his godmother,
Danbury. Lady Danbury.
Yes, Lady Danbury, where she talks about how they got elevated and why Black people were a part of society now.
Yeah, I wish they didn't explain.
Left it as Black people are a part of society, period. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
I think they had to do it because why else would the Duke's, I mean, I guess they had to explain why the Duke's father was so adamant to have an heir. But I feel like they felt they need to explain that, but I feel like they didn't have to. Like, there are so many men throughout history who have been like, I need an heir. Like, it's so important that you carry on my name. There was no need to make it about his race or whatever. It could have just been like, me, I'm so important, my name must go on. But yeah, I agree with you. I wish it could have just been like, yeah, there's Black people, because there were Black people. Like, the Moors exist. Like, there were people of color in Edwardian times in England. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah. I will say that the way that they explained it didn't make it sound like they were like lowly people, just that they were like different and not living together. So I thought, okay, that's better than saying something like, like we were slaves and then this or something. So I don't know. It's better than what I'm used to, but it still wasn't.
I thought there were hints of slavery mentioned, because I thought that they made mention of America. Yes. So I thought there was some mention of slavery, like over in America, you wouldn't be Duke of Hastings. Like, that's not a thing that you would be doing. So I don't know. I 100% agree with what Ashley said.
I guess, what year exactly did it take place though? Because even if I feel like it was like early 1800s, and I mean, maybe there weren't very many, but there were definitely Black people a part of American society too. And I mean, we didn't have dukes or anything like that, but we held titles and land and things like that in the early 1800s. So it's not like, there would be no reason for them to mention slavery in any capacity. We're talking about high society, and Black people are just a part of high society wherever we are present. So I liked the show overall. I think towards the middle, like after the Duke and Daphne got married, there were too many sex scenes for me. It was just, it got.
Did you say too many?
I said too many. There were too many.
Too many.
y'all are in love and it's hot and heavy and there's not a whole lot else for y'all to be doing, so y'all are just gonna get it in all during your honeymoon. I understand, but I don't need to see it every single time. I was tired of it.
Listen, I love seeing him do it in the living room, on the
in the library,
in the library, on the ladder, in the dining room, in his office, like that. Because I felt like when I get married, that. Like,
I mean, I
like
understand,
that.
and I just don't. I didn't need it. It seemed out of place to me for a show that was so story driven at first, and then it was just like, here, have 3 episodes of them just fucking all over the place. I don't need that. That's not. I just didn't need it. But
I hear you.
Question. Did y'all think Daphne and him made a good couple? Because I didn't think.
I didn't.
I really wanted them to not like each other and to continue to not like each other for the rest of the show. I wanted them to just be frenemies for the rest of the show.
So fun.
I want them to just be jabbing at each other and be like, I don't like you. You're snooty and you're a dandy. And I wanted them to do that for the whole season, and for him to be off dipping his wick wherever he wanted to, and for her to just be dumb to the world, because I thought that was their dynamic. When she finally was like, oh, we can stop pretending, because I thought she was gonna marry the prince, because perfect match for you. He don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Know nothing together.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't like her and him together, but the sex scenes were interesting. I thought they were hot in general.
I love them. But I think I like that dynamic from I guess she is the perfect sub because she knows nothing and he has to guide her, and it fits into the dynamic that in my head makes perfect sense. The ingenue who needs to be guided by the daddy dom. It just, all of it fits. So I think
I don't like watching affection between two people.
Understood.
It makes me cringe. It's like, that is, no, I don't like that. And then
okay.
It was just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene after sex scene. There were so many.
There was few.
I needed to see more of his boxing partner. I feel like he didn't have.
So if they had scenes of the boxing partner and his wife, you probably would have been like, "Oh, okay."
But that's a different thing. That is different thing, because I would not have minded that. He needed a bigger role. I needed to see like 1800s locker room scenes with him. You know what I'm saying? Where they're like at a bathhouse or something.
That's what you didn't see enough of sexual chocolate right there.
Mm-hmm.
There was too much caramel, not enough chocolate.
He's all pretty and shit, and it's like, oh,
you wanted to see I got you. Okay,
pretty person doing it with this small, delicate person. Get the fuck out of here.
Delicate people need love too.
I mean, sure, but it should be private. The delicate love is the private love.
Wow.
That should be in the closet, put away.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Wife. I would have watched that.
All right. We will take those notes to Shonda.
Yes. Send them.
Yes.
And make sure that for the next season. So next season will be focused on the older brother who was with the opera singer. And he needs to find a wife because he is now the head of the family and the fortune. So to be focused on him and him finding a wife, we will still see the rest of the characters, because obviously it's about the whole family. But it is going to be about him and his wife. We have not seen the last of Marina and her and that guy that she went off to marry.
Her baby daddy brother.
Her baby daddy brother.
Yeah.
We have not seen the last of her. And we got to find out what happens to Lady Whistledown. Were you surprised about who it was?
Yeah. I was surprised to see that it was her, because the news about Marina being pregnant, making it into the newsletter, I was like, okay, so who told her? Like, who told her for real? It had to be somebody in the redheaded people's houses. What are their names? Featherington, yes. I did not suspect Penelope. I just didn't. I didn't suspect.
Spoiler warning. Yes.
This whole show is a spoiler. Everything we've been talking about.
You know, spoilable. I when they started to pin it on the fake French lady, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good deduction.
Her.
But I didn't think it was her. Right, because people who got actual jobs, like when the maid laughed at her face when she was sneaking, when the
it was so funny
when the younger sister was like, and the maid was like, "You think I got time to write off?" And she just laughed. Get out of my room. I was like, yes.
No, but when she tried to put her foot down though, and the maid was like, "Girl,"
right.
But also because I think Madam Dressmaker would have way more salacious ass news. Like,
right?
Who the fuck people are dating this? She was at orgies. Like, I'd be like, I saw
right. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Those stories, like the fact that those stories, with the painter and the painter's wife and his little gang friends that he's been with for like 10 years, like that wasn't in the paper. That's how you know it was them little French things.
Nah,
because that's real news. That's real tea.
That's
hot. It's got to be proper tea. It's got to be pinky out tea. It can't be like down and dirty type tea. If you distribute the letter to high society, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
I'm sure the queen would still like to know. I'm sure this queen still want to know that the guy painted her painting.
Thrown in jail for homosexuality and depraved actions.
You're correct. I forgot about that.
You can't be doing that.
You're right. You're right.
It's not page 6. It's arrests at that point.
You're right.
Right.
I forgot
the laws get involved then.
Yeah, that's right. He did make mention of that. The fact that they couldn't even pretend in public.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't even pretend in public. But I think that the way that it freed the brother up to be like, well, damn, let me go on over to my little friend's house since I can do this. Like, let me go on over. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
I liked it. And it had, some people had its criticisms. One of the criticisms I have heard is, where are the dark-skinned women? Because all of the women in the show, all the women of color, are all light-skinned. So
Lady Danbury was white?
Lady Danbury was not. I wouldn't consider her.
But she also was not. She was not paired with any romantic lover.
Right.
That's facts.
So in order to have a mate, or to have a romantic situation scripted, you had to be light skinned. At least that's the critique that I have heard from people.
I guess. I mean, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Colorism is, I don't know, when we have things like this, whenever people want to celebrate the addition of Black people, then the other side of it is, which Black people are being celebrated.
Like, just on a similar note, do y'all watch Vikings?
I have not. I will, because listen.
So the show, of course, is about Vikings, right? And about their quest for more fertile lands. And so eventually they come to Moorish ruled Spain, right? And so, everybody's wondering, are the Moors going to be Black people in the show, or are they going to be, Arabic people? Or did I say that right? Is that correct?
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so they get to Spain, they meet the Moors. The men are dark-skinned Black people. The women are mixed looking. They're light-skinned, loose curls, all of that. And it's like, so do they come from the same place or not? Like, are they Moorish women or are they not Moorish women? Why can't y'all just cast dark-skinned Black women? Why is that so hard to do?
Yeah.
From like Storm on to Dion's mother in Raising Dion on Netflix.
Gosh, yes.
Like, why can't y'all just give dark-skinned women these roles? Like, what is the problem? What's the issue?
Even when they're playing dark-skinned real women that existed, they tend to
Nina Simone did not deserve that.
We don't even need to mention that. That is just an atrocity that just needs to die with time. We We never need to acknowledge that happened.
At least she apologized for it, but it doesn't change what it was.
It took her long enough to apologize. She was stonewalling and saying acting is acting. She was doing all sorts of things, tiptoeing around and talking about I'm still black girl, ma'am.
Miss Ma'am.
And then she was like, "Oh,
for the role, it's not the role for you. You gotta do it."
Right. That's why Dionne Warwick out here talking about Tiana Taylor. If anybody else but Tiana Taylor plays me, don't do it. Dionne Warwick has already told you who's gonna play her.
Is it Tiana Taylor?
It better be. Because if it's not, she gonna come out her grave and you know what I mean. She gonna haunt y'all.
It's very shocking. I don't know why they can't just cast black women, dark black women. There's so many.
The only one they seem to know is Viola Davis. That seems to be the only one they know. And what's the girl from Black Panther? What's her name?
Angela Bassett.
Sorry, the younger ones.
Lupita
is the only other one they know. Those are the only two that they know. They don't know none other ones.
Yeah. So besides that and the rape scene, that stuff did stick out to me for sure.
Let's talk about this rape scene real quick. It was enjoying the show and all the couple lovemaking until we get to this scene where she forcibly causes him to release inside of her. And I was really bothered. I was angry. I had to stop watching and think about whether I was going to even finish the show because I was angry that I had to watch that. Because in my mind, it brought up these feelings of men who have had this happen to them, like have had women do this to them, and it really made me upset. And I think for me, I didn't feel that he was at fault for not explaining to her how babies were made.
No, I wouldn't say like he was at fault at all for what happened, right? Like that was rude of her, and definitely like she should not have done that at all. That was just terrible. But I do think that could have been it could have maybe it wouldn't have happened had she understood what the fuck was going on. I will say that. It's not like she did it maliciously. She just didn't. I don't think she understood what she was doing in general. But like she didn't know it was wrong. That's what I'll say. She didn't understand that it was wrong because she was like of that mindset of like we're married, so you're my property kind of attitude, which is not true and not at all real. But people have that attitude a lot in marriages, and I think that's obviously immaturity, you know. But if he had been honest about he wasn't finishing with her, like inside of her, then I think that would be a different outcome. But I still think it's her fault. Like she shouldn't have done that at all. It's terrible.
I think that this is difficult. I think it's difficult because once she learned from her lady's maid how babies got created, then she pieced together that that's why he was always pulling out.
Correct.
And so she could have asked him,
yes,
like, so can you not physically have children, or are you choosing not to procreate, even though healthy sperm, even though I doubt that she had the verbiage to say sperm.
Yeah.
But she could have had the conversation.
They both could have had the conversation, honestly. Like he could have said before this whole marriage scandal, I don't want kids. not I cannot give you children, like he was always saying, being all, playing with the semantics and everything. He could have said, I'm not having kids because I don't want kids.
True.
And that's still the truth. And it's much more straightforward than I cannot give you children.
Yes, but he didn't lie. He could have said, I don't want to give you children. He said, I can't give you children. Now, his reasons, I think, were dumb. I don't think revenge against your father is a reason to not grant your seed to your wife.
Very dumb. Yes.
So there's a whole other thing to unpack. But I don't fault him for his semantics, but I understand where there can be fault found there.
I fault him for his semantics because in the early 1800s, everybody was well aware of the fact that cannot means that you are unable. And so he used those words on purpose to lead women into believing that he physically could not have. All right. So yeah, he used I cannot give you children to mislead women into thinking that there was something physically going on with him where he couldn't make a woman pregnant, but that just wasn't the case. And I mean, would he have gotten any less pussy if he had just said, I don't want kids? I don't think so. I think it would have been a whole lot of bitches that would have been like, all right, me neither. So,
I think what suspends belief here is, how is he not, in all these years and all his philandering,
that part,
how he not have little dukedoms running around?
Pull out 70% effective or something.
You got the best pull out game ever.
Goodness.
Because you talked about how much sex they was having. How do we know that one instance of her assaulting him and forcibly making him finish inside her was what got her pregnant? Because the pull-out game does not work all the time. Please, fellas, ladies, I don't care if you think the rhythm. I don't care if you think you know your cycle. I don't care if you know exactly when your eggs drop. The rhythm method and the pull-out method are not foolproof.
They have been. I mean, they can be. It depends. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. It probably wouldn't be in this case because she didn't even understand where babies came from. So I doubt she knows her cycle enough to understand that you can only really get pregnant 1 week out of the month. I mean, it's fine. I mean, whatever. But
unless you are a class A witch and know when the moon and the tides are pulling, no.
When you can feel the egg release from your follicle,
right?
I felt the ovulation.
Unless you are that in tune with your body and know exactly when your eggs drop, no, ma'am.
How do you think prostitutes stayed not having kids? They had all these types of tricks and stuff.
The tea that Marina makes. Thank you. And the tea that Marina makes, there is a kind of tea that works how she thought it was going to work. So let me just say, there are ways.
There's ways too. Yeah. But I'm just saying, they also use lemon wedges and all kinds of other things to block sperm from
eggs. Yes.
There are ways to do it.
Yeah, there are ways.
But lemon wedge? What?
Yeah, girl.
That was a contra. It's like a diagram.
Shit.
You just block it. It's a little thing that's gonna block it and be natural, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, there's ways around it, but this couple for sure did not know.
I will say I was very happy that she did not have the baby. I'm sorry that any woman has to go through that, because that is not mentally and emotionally.
No, she just got her period. She was never pregnant. She didn't have a miscarriage. She just
her
cycle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But it was, yeah, I think there was just a lot of miscommunication, but that was clearly a rape scene and it was clearly uncomfortable. I definitely was not about it. It reminded me of 40 Days and 40 Nights, where there's a rape scene in that movie too, and it was supposed to be funny. And I was just like,
funny?
So uncomfortable. Yeah, because, 40 Days and 40 Nights is the guy, he's giving up sex for Lent. And there was an actual reason for it and all this, but he was doing that, and then some girl, his last night, she gets on top of him. And
I don't like any of that. All of that makes me unhappy.
Oh, it was terrible. But of course, society viewed it it was like a joke in the movie.
Also, I was taught that when you give up things for Lent, you don't go back to them. So if you gave up sex for Lent,
I didn't know that. I
didn't know that either. What?
I had
never heard that before.
I don't know that, because I feel like people have been giving up chocolate and going right back to it.
And I mean, if you give up something every year for Lent, eventually you're gonna run out of shit to give up.
That scene was. I'm glad. Sorry, like I said, I'm glad that it didn't result in a baby, and it was probably the only thing about the show that I didn't enjoy. But I'm looking forward to how they translate the other books. There's 8 in total. Yes. So we might get 8 seasons. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Down.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it 8 whole seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need more conflict next season.
More than a guy dying from gambling debts?
Snap.
Yeah. Because they didn't develop that enough. It was just like, oh, he has a gambling problem. Oh, he rigged a fight. Oh, he got kidnapped and now he's dead. It's like, if that's going to be the drama, give me that drama. But
would you want to see him get hemmed up?
Yeah.
We already saw that other guy get his butt beat by the Duke.
This isn't Game of Thrones, okay? It's
and all right, there it is. There it is. Because if I'm gonna watch
Game of Thrones, okay.
Yeah, if I have to watch period pieces with white people and money and all of that shit, I want to see some murder also. Wow. I was happy when they was like, oh, we're gonna duel at dawn. I appreciated the older brother. He wanted to fight about everything. He was like, we're about to duel this out, and I was like, that's what the fuck
he was a little too feisty for me. That like, I don't wake up and choose violence, but that brother definitely did. Anthony woke up every morning and was like, who's gonna get these hands today?
And he said, my trigger finger is itching, motherfuckers.
Every day. How many fights did he get? I mean, he fought everybody. Like, sir, have a seat. You know what he needed? As soon as he couldn't have sex with his little opera singing girl, he got more and more angry.
He got upset.
His testosterone got built up. He didn't know what else to do with it.
He nowhere else to go. Nowhere else to go. All right. All right. That was some other business. But now I think Ms. Neecie has a random Disney question for us.
I do. Y'all ready? Okay. Who is the most iconic Disney villain? And you can add a song if you like, but who's the most iconic villain?
Oof.
I know. That's a doozy.
Poor unfortunate soul.
We got one for Ursula. Okay.
I'm going to go with Ursula.
What are the reasons?
I think she had a really specific goal, and she attained it. So Ursula. So not only because I thought her style, like her overall presence, like just think about the first time we see her slide out of her bed and into the frame. Her song, which Poor Unfortunate Souls is just an iconic song. And the fact, like I said, she achieved her goal. Now she ends up losing at the end because bad guys lose, but she did for a little while have the crown and the Triton. And Triton's staff, she ruled the seas for like a good 20 minutes. So, I think
that's 20 minutes.
I'm just saying it was 20 minutes. My runner up though is Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. Another great song. Also just grander. I mean, the guy got all of the mice to do his bidding, and he not even a mouse. Like,
that's true.
He was a rat, and then had a cat as a pet.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, that's boss mode.
That was wild.
That's boss mode. So yeah, those are my two.
I'll go. So I'm gonna start. My number one is Cruella de Vil.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
She's the good one.
Reason being is because she's just fucking evil. There's nothing about her. There's no redemption song. There we go. So yeah, Cruella de Vil is amazing for a number of reasons. I feel like a lot of women are not seen as just evil. They usually have to go through some traumatic event to be evil, which I don't agree with. There are assholes and evil people of every gender that exists. And she was just a clear-cut evil person. She just wanted to kill them puppies. She didn't even need another coat. She already had a fur. She had plenty of furs. She just wanted one that was
Dalmatian fur.
She just wanted one with spots on it. And I love that. I like that pure evil that needs pure good to be defeated. It was perfect. And then Jafar it's between Jafar and Scar, mostly because their names rhyme, but they also had really great songs. And so, Be Prepared is amazing, and the top billing song for me in
Absolutely.
my heart.
Agreed.
So that's that.
So I think for me, the most iconic would be Hades. I think Hades is overlooked a lot. He's underrated. He was funny. To me, he was the funniest Disney villain. He didn't have a song, but he had a lot of one-liners. You know, Hades has a lot of quotables. I also like Gaston.
Nice.
Yeah. Gaston had a dope ass song.
Did.
Had the whole club popping when he sang his song.
Yes.
Okay.
The biddies were bopping. You right.
Listen. All the hoes wanted Gaston.
Oh no, not the 3 other single ladies in the town. The 3 other single women in the town.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Who happen to be related. All 3. Okay.
All of them wanted Gaston.
All of them.
Okay. And he was just, I mean, all the Disney villains are just driven by their ego, but he was just ego in a human suit. Gaston was pure ego. Like, you don't like me, but I'm me. And I can appreciate that. I can.
You know who I have to mention? Just off GP. Maleficent. Oh, yeah. Who's only upset because she didn't get invited to a baby shower. Girl.
Petty queen.
Girl. Girl. Are you seriously? For reals though?
I get it.
I mean, a baby shower, like you don't even know them.
She's an important figure in the community, and that merits an invitation on its own. Okay,
she's the queen of the dark forest. Like that's what's supposed to. You got to invite everybody. He invited everybody but her. So it was like
it was a snub. It was a snub. They snubbed her.
She said, "Oh, where was my invitation? Oh, I wasn't invited. Curse your baby. Curse your kingdom. Curse this." Yes. I mean, that's pet. You what? Queen of petty. That's what she is.
All of this could have been avoided. Your baby could have stayed uncursed if you had just done the courteous thing and dropped my goddamn invitation.
Right. She probably wouldn't even shown up. She probably wouldn't have even shown up. She would have RSVP'd and not gone.
Yeah, would have ignored that baby and she would have stayed uncursed. But see, when your parents don't have no manners, this is what happens.
And I bet you they never forgot to send her an invitation to something else again. They sent her.
Yeah. So I mean, I think those are all good icons of villainy. That was a great question, Neecie.
It was.
That was a really good question. Ladies, I think we have concluded our Disness for the day.
Disness complete.
Good meeting.
Thank you all for listening and tuning in this week. I wanted to remind all of you, we are on social media. If you are not aware, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at down the number 2 Disness. That's DISNESS. So you can find us out in the interwebs, and we would love to interact with you. So feel free to tweet us if you see some good Disney news that you would like us to discuss here on the show. We would love it.
Send us your random Disney questions that you might want us to answer.
That sounds fun. And also comments, guys. Let us know what you think of our fun show.
Yeah, so the episodes will be up on our YouTube the day after we post them up on wherever you listen to podcasts, and we look forward to hearing from you. So again, that's down the number 2 Disness, and you'll find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. All right, ladies, we will see you next week, and we'll have more Disness to discuss then.
So
bye.
Bye. Bye.